This first video is going to be just on activity 1, on the 3 basic rights, because this activity and these 3 rights are really the kind of basis for the whole class, as we'll see as we go along. And so let me just get into it. I've drawn this triangle here to represent these 3 rights. I sometimes call it a sacred triangle because, as we'll see, these rights are supposed to be sacred in the sense of not being violated by others. And the 3 rights are known by a couple of different ways of calling them. One is the one that you see in letter D of this activity, which is Blackstone, who speaks of personal security, personal liberty, and property, the right to acquire and possess property. So you can see those here. Sometimes they're known a little less precisely as just life, liberty, and property. Life being personal security, liberty, personal liberty, and property. The right to acquire and possess property. Personal security or life means that nobody can rightfully physically harm you, murder you, assault you, that kind of a thing. Property, obviously, nobody can take your money, your property from you stealing. Personal liberty, you can see in letter D, has a special meaning in the context of these 3 basic rights. Liberty means all sorts of different things, and we're going to see that during this class, but in this context of the 3 basic rights, it only means one thing, which is freedom from physical restraint. So that can mean being wrongly imprisoned. As we'll see later on, it could be kidnapped. Any way in which you're being physically restrained would be a violation of the right of personal liberty. So let me just go into some of the details of this activity. So in letter A, this is a quotation of the Massachusetts Declaration of Rights. Basically, I've already answered that one as far as what the 3 rights are. It's the right of enjoying and defending lives, liberties, and acquiring and possessing and protecting property. That last part of letter A is kind of a summing up of the whole thing in fine that of seeking and obtaining their safety and happiness. And so let me just say that these rights are so important, and the reason why we're beginning with them is because if I was to sum up the whole American system of government, the goal is to make sure that we can pursue our happiness in peace, securely, without being harmed by others, whether that's by government or by other people or terrorist organizations or other countries, that kind of a thing. So letter B, the question is it ever morally right to use force against others? According to these quotations and this way of looking at things, there are times when it's right to use force, and that is when we're defending our lives, liberties, or properties from those who would attack us and violate our rights. Letter C, talking about who decides what these rights are. This is a kind of difficult question that we'll look at more later in the class. You can see that this activity 1, letter C, talks about the inhabitants of the English colonies in North America having certain rights, and that they're protected by the English Constitution, other charters and compacts. But it's not saying that we get our rights from constitutions or compacts, or that only people in North America have these rights. The key phrase in this, and we'll look at this more later, is when it speaks of the immutable laws of nature. Immutable means unchanging. Laws of nature is a difficult concept, but it's a way of looking at things, that there are just some things that are right and some things that are wrong. And what's wrong is to murder, steal, rape, etc. And so that's in the nature of things. They're saying Later on, you'll see in this will be in the Declaration of Independence and other places that their view of it is that we get these rights from God, but we'll kind of postpone that till a later time. But the main thing is that these rights are established in these laws of nature, and constitutions and laws and charters secure these rights, which we get from these laws of nature. So that is all I want to say about activity 1, and in the next video we'll get on to the first meaning of liberty.